So the first thing we have to touch on is this idea that the Western Wall is actually Jewish. It absolutely is not Jewish. In fact, it wasn't until the establishment of the modern state of Israel, the nation state of Israel as we know it today, which was founded in 1948, something we're going to get more into in the next episode, to see that that's about the time when this landmark became the primary place for people to worship at this, what they think is this Temple Mount site. But in reality, just as it is when we pull the layers back on all of these things, Rome is behind all of it. So it should come as no surprise that something that appears to be very Jewish is actually very, very Roman. This Wailing Wall is actually the ancient Roman Fort Antonia. Herod built this large fortress to actually protect a shrine of Nimrod. And whenever you see all of this Isis, Horus, Set, false trinity kind of views where you can trace back all the way to Babylon, the original is Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Of course, we see Tammuz in the scriptures as a god not to be worshipped. And so a lot of what Rome is just kind of the fullness of the fruits of Babylon. And so Herod built this structure so that he could protect his shrine to Nimrod. And oddly enough, the central point of Nimrod worship was the worship of the sun. And so this is ancient sun worship kind of permeating through to the fact that Christians and Jews are worshiping at a wall that was made to protect a shrine made to the sun god, in this case, Nimrod. It says in this article here, it's just a brief snippet back from 2016, UNESCO, the Western Wall is not Jewish. UNESCO has finally accepted the historical fact that the so-called Western Wall or the Wailing Wall had nothing to do with Judaism. It's remains of the Roman fortress wrongfully adopted as a religious structure by the Jewish colonists. When you hear the term Jewish colonists, you can identify that with a specific period in history, which is in the mid to late 1940s, and is directly associated with those who promoted the concept of Zionism, which is God's established these people in the physical geographic location as almost more of an ethnicity or a race than a person of faith. And this is a dialogue that I've had with Jewish friends of mine for a long time, basically saying you cannot be a Jew without the faith of Abraham, because Judaism is a religious thought, not a cultural identifier.
Well, I think it also flies straight in the face of what Christ said. In Matthew 24, he said, not one stone will be left upon another until all is thrown down. Everything's going to be thrown down. There's not going to be one stone left upon another. So if Christ is truly who he says he is, and of course we believe that as Christians, then you'd have to believe that it was entirely destroyed to the ground and nothing remained.
But this, again, is expecting you not to look at the actual scriptural account, but just to go along with what the world is doing.
Who instituted the modern nation of Israel? Was that wrestling with God, or was that the United Nations?
And because we know who the little horn is, and we know who Mystery Babylon is, the mother of harlots, is all pointing back to the papacy, it allows us to see everything through that lens and